Congresswoman Nancy Mace is from South Carolina, member of the House Armed Services Committee. She joins us live. Congresswoman, thank you for joining us once again here on the Hill on NewsNation. I want to start with Ukraine because it's one of the wedge issues right now in your party. Of course, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is going to be meeting with President Biden tomorrow here in Washington. Kevin McCarthy said there are questions going forward about strategy and resources. You said recently additional funding is going to be a quote-unquote difficult sell. Where do you stand right now, and how would you rally Republicans around your position?
Well, I would want some questions answered before I took a position on any additional Ukraine aid. Number one, I want to know if the aid we've provided has been exhausted. Where are we on that rollout? Because I know when we gave that first tranche, the State Department was very, very slow in rolling out lethal aid to Ukraine. So where are we? Do we have any sort of audit back on where those resources have been utilized, what's worked and not worked before we go down that road? And also I want to know, where are our allies? I've done a lot of traveling overseas. I meet with folks here on the Hill. Are they also increasing their aid to Ukraine, and by how much? I think those are all fair questions to have answered before we move forward on any additional aid to Ukraine.
Is that a pause, essentially? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I haven't taken a side on additional aid at this juncture because I want to know where we are with the current aid we've already committed. Have we exhausted it? Do we have 20 billion, more to go? How much more do we have left to exhaust, and what does that mean? And then also our European allies and other allies around the world and our friends who are supporting Ukraine, are they also going to be upping their investment in the war as well?
Got it. On abortion, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, running second in the presidential primary, as you know, signed a 6-week abortion ban in his home state. He's the governor in Florida. Former President Trump recently said that he went to that it was a quote-unquote terrible thing. Who do you think's gone too far here, President Trump or Ron DeSantis?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Florida already had a 15-week ban prior to the fetal heartbeat bill, which is where the vast majority of Americans are. I don't understand why you would put a general election, the White House, at risk for taking a more extreme position where the rest of the country just is not. There was no mandate for that kind of policy, especially when you're mandating rape be reported to law enforcement. That's not what women want. And so I do believe that Donald Trump has the better position on abortion. So too does Nikki Haley. She was the only one on the debate stage a few weeks ago that said we should not be demonizing women even when we disagree with them. Those kinds of messages from Donald Trump and Nikki Haley are the kinds of things that we need to hear more of, not less.
Donald Trump, of course, is the former president. Let's just operate in a world, Congresswoman, where he wins the Republican primary and he wins the White House again. All of these issues, right? You got the budget going on right now and the inter-party battle. Ukraine, abortion, we just talked about too. Do you expect the Republican Party to fall in line with Donald Trump then at that point in time, or not necessarily?
Well, it's hard to say. We're our own chamber. We have multiple caucuses. I myself am a caucus of one. So it's really hard to say. I would hope that not any party would fall just in line with whomever. That we have politically diverse voices, that we debate issues that we're passionate about. At the end of the day, obviously, we want to come together. But I like the diversity of opinion that we currently have in our party today.
Kevin McCarthy, speaking of diversity of opinion, there is a lot that is headed his way right now. Where do you stand? Do you think he deserves to keep his job?
Well, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, but I'm from South Carolina. When I look you in the eye and I shake your hand and we make a deal or we make a promise, I expect you to hold true to that promise. And so I've been struggling over the last couple of weeks, realizing and understanding that the things that I shook hands on haven't come to fruition today. And so we'll see where things head over the next couple of weeks. But again, I am my own person, I'm my own woman, and when I shake your hand and I make a promise, I intend to keep it, and I expect both sides to do that as well.
What's the big item for you when it comes to Kevin McCarthy? Like, what do you, Congresswoman, want to see?
I've been working on a lot of issues, whether it's gun violence or stopping the politicizing of throwing people off their committees or balancing the budget. But especially, as you all know, I talk a lot about women's issues. I've been working on rape kits and legislation for that all year long. I filed a bill months ago about birth control.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.